Okay guys, in today's video we will be talking about how to meet new people and build relationships, okay? Because let's be honest, relationships are the source of our most amazing memories and experiences in our lives, okay? We are social beings. We need social interaction. You need relationships. You need people around you. You need to build a social circle that is self-sustaining, that supports one another, and that you can hang out with when you feel like hanging out with people, okay? It's good to have friends, and it's good to build a social circle of like-minded people. And in today's day and age, I think that so many people lack social skills. Like, we're all behind the screens on our phones, watching YouTube videos, but we're not actually interacting with people anymore. And it's starting to get like weird. People are becoming socially anxious and they don't know how to strike up a conversation. And I think it's sad. I think it's a problem that needs fixing. Okay, so in this video, I will be teaching you how to make new friends and how to build relationships. But first, my name is Wolf and I help you to become the 2.0 version of yourself through self-improvement. And since you're clearly interested in that, I want you to scroll down right now and click on the subscribe and the post notification button. It's a win-win for both of us. Now, as I mentioned earlier, people are really lacking social skills. And that's why in this video, I want to teach you some practical, no bullshit social skills that you can apply today to meet new people and make new friends, okay? So the first one is simply walking up to people and introducing yourself, okay? You have to assume the burden, all right? People are shy, people are afraid, they're socially anxious, so they want you to actually take the initiative, okay? Wherever you are, at a party, in the streets, and public transport, wherever it may be, okay? You can easily strike up a conversation. People actually want to talk, and if they don't want to talk, they will let you know, okay? Now, some people might find it very weird if you approach them in a public space, right? In the streets or on public transport. So a good way to preempt this suspicious attitude is by letting them know that, hey, I'm not crazy. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just here to strike up a conversation. I'm just here to be social. I'm just here to introduce myself and get to know you, okay? This is a very good way to let people know that you're socially aware, okay? It's so important to be socially aware. Check the surroundings. Don't just approach someone who is mid-conversation, who seems in a total rush, okay? Be socially aware. Pay attention to the surroundings, to the details, right? It's so important to have a sense of where the person that you want to talk to is at in this moment, okay? Because if you will interrupt them abruptly, they will not want to talk. They will feel like you are selfish and you're not aware of their emotional state. You're not aware of where they're at that moment in time. So pay attention, okay? Pay attention to people's body language. Is it open? Shoulders open? You know, are they standing upright? Are they closed off? Do they seem shy? You can actually make a comment on that, okay? So the second practical tip that you can apply today is doing some kind of cold reading, okay? Cold reading basically means that you are making assumptions about people. You can say, hey, you look a little bit uncomfortable, or hey, you look like you're very happy today, or you seem very excited. Do you mind sharing what is going on, right? These are open questions that actually play into the present moment. You can always work with the present moment, okay? If you're afraid of running out of things to say, or you don't even have anything to say, you can use the present moment as inspiration. It's one of the most powerful sources of inspiration, in fact, right? Because it is true. And if you make a false assumption, or if you make an assumption that is not true, they will most likely just let you know, hey, no, not really, but why did you think that? And then you can continue the conversation from there, all right? Now, another thing is, in order for you to be interesting, be interested, okay? Genuinely be interested in other people. It's so important to show that you're actually listening, that you're actually paying attention. Don't be distracted all the time or be mentally absent, because that gives a bad impression. All right. You want to be engaged with the person you're talking to. You want to show your interest. And how do you show your interest? By making eye contact, by nodding when they're saying things, by asking questions. A good way to make the other person feel heard is by repeating the last 2 or 3 words of their last sentence. Okay. You don't want to be parroting all the time and just repeating everything they're saying. But in certain situations, when they pausing their sentence, when they are finished talking, you can repeat the last 3 words. Is that what I hear you say? Or you can reflect back to them the thing that they just told you. When you maybe hear them talk about their job and they're feeling a little bit frustrated with their boss, you can repeat that to them in your own words. So I just heard you say that you're a little bit frustrated with your boss. Is that what I hear you say? And they're like, yes, 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 that's exactly how I feel. And then they feel seen and heard. And that is a very powerful way to connect with people, okay? They will instantly start to like you more because you actually pay attention. There are so many people that are just distracted and that are not really good listeners. So stand out from the crowd, all right? Now, I want to mention a caveat here because I used to be the person who only listens, okay? Who only asks a few questions and then listens. And in certain cases, it's good, okay? If it's a person who loves to talk about themselves, and most people actually do, then they will just blah, 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 talk about themselves, and they will feel like they have the best conversational partner ever. I had situations where I literally said 2 words, and after the conversation was over, they were like, wow man, it was great talking to you, it was like a fantastic conversation, I had such a good time. But all they did was just talk about themselves, okay? It makes people feel good to talk about themselves. Now, this is a mistake that I used to make when I was younger, that I would only ask a few questions and not really share anything about myself. It's important to give back, okay? Especially initially, people are a little bit wary, they don't know how to talk, they feel a little bit socially awkward. So you can approach them, make an observation, introduce yourself, say, I think that this, I saw you, this, you look interesting, whatever it may be, okay? And then maybe share something about yourself. Oh, I was hanging out the other day with my friends and we had a great lunch and it was delicious food. One of my favorite foods actually is lasagna, whatever. I love when my mom cooks it. What is your favorite food, okay? And then you can build conversational threads, all right? And what you wanna pay attention to is to divide the threats. Don't just go into one direction. Don't just ask, oh, do you have a dog? And what is your dog's name? And what does the dog do? And pets and dogs and dogs and dogs and dogs. And this is the only thing you talk about. No, because let's take a moment here to think about how you converse with your friends. You talk about a lot of different things at the same time, yeah, right? You're sharing something about your day, and then you ask them a question about your business maybe, and then you tell them like, hey, let's hang out sometimes. Or, you know, there's a lot of different topics going on at the same time, and this creates a sense of rapport, all right? This creates a sense of connection because it feels familiar, right? And if you do this with a stranger, for example, it will feel so much more as if you know one another than if you would just go into one conversational thread. This is unidirectional and this feels awkward and forced, right? So it's okay to cut the topic and to start talking about something completely different because you can always return back to the original topic, right? You can ask them about their pets and then start talking about their family and what you love doing for traveling, and then you can come back to the pet. Have you ever brought your pet on a trip? Okay, and then you can combine the threads, and that's how you can really weave a whole web of information and a conversation that is actually interesting and stimulating, okay? But you have to assume the burden. You can't expect the other person to assume the burden. If you want to make friends, if you want to make a social circle, if you want to meet new people, you first of all need to get out of the house, okay? Get out of your friggin' house. Don't stay inside. Don't just strike up conversations on social media. It doesn't work like that, guys. Honestly, come on. Cut out the social media and get out of your house, right? Start talking to people. Go to a nice coffee place, sit down with your book, whatever, and just strike up a conversation with the person sitting next to you. Hey, what brings you here? I was reading my book. It's really interesting. How are you today? Okay? Smile, make eye contact, introduce yourself. Be friendly, okay? Be normal, be friendly. And if you feel that they're a little bit standoffish, let them know, hey, I'm really not crazy. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just here to be social. And that puts people at ease, okay? Because imagine, let's say you get approached by some kind of weirdo in the streets or a homeless person, okay? And they approach you like, do you want to give me money? Or you know that there is something off. They're like a little bit too friendly and you think that, what do they want here? Imagine that they tell you, hey, I know that it seems weird that I approach you like this, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just here to socialize. That immediately removes that suspicious feeling that you have. It puts you at ease, right? So that is a great tip that you can apply in your own conversations, especially when you approach strangers. That puts them really at ease. Now, before we jump into the last practical tip that I want to share with you today, I want you to think of someone that you can share this video with and discuss the topics together, okay? Because when you discuss these topics together and you try to teach them to one another, you will internalize these concepts way better, and you will actually remember the things that I talk about instead of retaining like maybe 20 or 30% of what you just watched, okay? Most people have a very short attention span, really bad memory, and you probably will not even remember most of the things that I talked about in this video. So if you commit to discussing the topics in this video together with someone you know that you trust, you will be so much more equipped with the information that I present you here with, because that is the thing that is going to make a change in your life, guys, okay? You can mindlessly consume content all day, but unless you actually implement it, discuss it, teach it to other people, you will never truly internalize the knowledge, and you will never be able to improve your life. And I want you to improve your life, okay? I want you to become the 2.0 version of yourself, okay? Now, with that being said, the last practical tip that I'm here to tell you is a tip that I got from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a really good book, and I highly recommend you check it out. And one of the tips in that book is remember people's names. The easiest way to remember someone's name is by repeating it 3 times in your head after they say it, okay? Let me give you an example. Hi, my name is Maria. Nice to meet you. And then I would say, hi Maria, my name is Wolf. Nice to meet you too. Today is a beautiful day, don't you think, Maria? What brings you here? I'm curious to hear your story, Maria. Can you see what I just did there? I actually mentioned her name 3 times within a minute without making it sound weird, okay? This is one of the most powerful ways to remind someone's name. Mention their name 3 times after they've introduced themselves, and you will be way more likely to remember their name later on in the conversation, okay? But please don't make it sound stupid or too forced. Make it sound natural, okay? Just the way like I did. Make it sound natural, and you will not forget their names. The reason why you want to remember people's names is because they grew up hearing their name all their life, okay? It's the sweetest sound to their ears, and it builds massive rapport when somebody remembers your name, okay? It feels like they know you, and it sounds very familiar, okay? There has been done studies which led to the cocktail party effect, okay? Where people are talking amongst one another, and if somebody in another group of people would shout your name, all of a sudden you would start to pay attention to that circle of people, because your name is such a conditioned response that it instantly creates rapport, and it instantly catches your attention. So it's really important to remember people's names, and the way you do it is by mentioning their name 3 times after they've introduced themselves, and you will barely forget any names. So these are my 5 favorite practical tips on how to meet new people and build relationships. So right now I want you to share this video with a friend and discuss these topics together, because this will be the best way for you to internalize this knowledge and actually apply it in your life, okay? So that is all I have for you today, guys. I hope it was helpful, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.